Alright, so we're back to another Sherlock Holmes game. Oh yeah, I didn't even introduce myself.
Wish this crime had never happened, Mr. Holmes.
Don't we all? Anyways, yeah, I'm trying to, you know, mix up the intro a bit. Because I mean, it's obvious you already know whose channel this is, unless I guess you have YouTube playing, you know, like mixing around stuff. That whatever. Anyways, so let's see. So last time, we got a new crime. 2 people dead, and it's pretty much been framed on. If you remember throughout the series, we had this little turd here.
I'll do anything to save my brother, Mr. Holmes.
Oi, oi. Anyways, his brother has been framed for the murder of Brian Burcott and Kenneth Butler. I'm sorry, Burcotti. Anyways, and been pretty sus. I mean, that's all I get to say. So apparently, these 2 guys died. And then the little turd's older brother ran away. But yeah, I don't know. It's too hard to explain. So let's just go on and do the little interview. Also, we actually got another thing. Search archives. Antique golden bracelet that was found in Mr. Turner's flat. It is decorated with a distinctive ram's head. So let's go ahead and go home before we first, and then we'll go to. And then we'll go to Scotland Yard. Fucking hell. Stupid asshole weather. The fact that it was like summer weather like 2 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden now we're back to like January weather. It's just fucking with my my allergies. Alright, what's up, Toby?
Hello, Toby. All you need now is a shawl and a mop cap, and you could be Mrs. Hudson's younger sister.
Damn. Alright. We are looking for an antique bracelet that was found in Miss Turner's flat, decorated with a distinctive ram's head. So let's see if we can find anything to do with a ram's head. Don't think it'd be newspapers. Do research. Nothing here. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Could it be a religious thing? Well, obviously it can't be the Divine Syndicate because that was from last time. Skull and crossbone. Nah, there's no skull and cross. Well,
that is not. That.
I mean, I don't expect it to say bracelet with a ram's head, but not exactly sure what we are looking for. Oops. I don't even think this is gonna help. Royal. No, I thought I said royal bracelet for a second. Okay, so I'm thinking it might be here somewhere in the encyclopedias.
That is not the. That is not. That is not. That is not.
Fuck it. Alright.
I need to continue my research.
Wait, what?
In my archives.
Okay. Wait, I want to see what we got out of that though. The 5 rams of metal. Okay, so probably would have found it, but I didn't see anything with rams in it. Oh well. I'm dumb anyways. These beautiful antique jewels represented a part of the Hellenistic treasures collection. Depicted are the 5 rams' head of mountain rams upon a bracelet, necklace, and ring, each made of pure gold. The 5 rams of Mytilene have been missing from the museum since 1885. Okay. Now we need to find articles about antiques. Alright, so let's go to 85. There we go. A treacherous theft. The Hellenistic treasures were stolen yesterday evening while being transported by cab on their way from the British Museum to the Glassford Fine Art Exhibition. Pawn shop owner Kenneth Butler contacted Scotland Yard that night and provided information regarding a gentleman who had been attempting to sell him a collection of historical art at his pawn shop in Church Street. The police have since captured the described man, a professional thief by the name of Vincent Foley, who had been in the process of escaping London via the port. He was recognized by the surviving driver of the cab that had transported the collection of Hellenistic treasures. Vincent Foley refused to confess as to where the remainder of the treasures were hidden. He was eventually imprisoned, and the lost treasures are still to be found. So they haven't found all these treasures yet. But Vincent Foley refused to confess.
Here it is.
Very interesting.
One of the victims, Kenneth Butler, was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures. A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more.
Alright, cool. Alright, let's go ahead and go to Baker Street and talk to, I think his name is Leighton, actually. So talk to Leighton and get his side of the story, so. Yeah, please excuse my coughing.
Mr. Holmes!
Oh, okay.
Whatever brings you here so late at night?
I'm interested in the case of young Leighton Chapman. He was arrested earlier this evening and accused of a double murder.
I beg your pardon? That case is quite clear to the police. Or are there any new facts that we don't know about?
Do you not learn anything,
Who
dude?
knows, Inspector?
Look, you are free to investigate, of course, Mr. Holmes. Chapman was arrested with a revolver in his possession, which you can find in the evidence room. The suspect himself is in custody.
Did you find anything else on his person?
A few personal belongings. Nothing particular, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Lestrade.
My boy Lestrade, alright? You're cool, right? But, like, if Holmes in the case, then it's obviously because something doesn't seem like, you know, something. So, I'm not saying, like, he's doubting me or anything like that, but, like, come on. Alright. Then again, he wasn't there, so he probably wasn't at the investigation. He probably doesn't know exactly what it is. He's probably only heard from his police officers, which hearing something isn't as good of an, what do you call it? Isn't good of a confirmation or something, whatever, than actually seeing something happen.
These cigarettes are filled with cheap tobacco. Nothing interesting.
It's kind of like Edgar Allan Poe saying, believe in half what you hear and nothing that you see, or something like that. So
A cheap watch, bought with his own money, no doubt. These cigarettes are filled with cheap tobacco.
Okay.
So this is the gun that Leighton was holding when he was caught by the police. It is a Webley revolver, a reliable weapon. It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder.
Perfect. Let me see how many shots were fired. If I can find a way to open it. Oh. Alright, so there's one bullet missing, for sure. Oh, I see another bullet expensed.
It seems...
See, how do we open this thing? Does it over here? Alright.
Two out of the 6 shells have been fired. There were 2 shots.
Right. Lightning revolver, different shots. Mr. Turner heard 2 different consecutive shots. The second shot was louder than the first. Okay. simultaneous shot. Turner could hear the contrast between 2 fired shots, as in fact 3 shots were made. At first, a single shot was fired, and then 2 fired simultaneously afterwards. Firing position. Turner could hear the contrast between 2 fired shots, as they were made from different points in half moon. Well, considering that this thing has like a check mark symbol, I bet if we choose this, Sherlock will want to test it out, which is what I would do, and see if he can like fire, you know, 1 shot first, and then fire the next 2 shots, you know, simultaneously, like really fast. We'll see. Reenact crossfire at the place. Okay, so it looks like we'll be going to Half Moon Street just to test it out, which is good. Something I want to do. Metal door key taken from the dead body. Can Butler? Oh yeah, we gotta find a use for that. Alright. Let's go back into the mental mind place. See if we can get anything else. He was the only person entering. He was seen standing over the dead body and escaping the scene afterwards. Lootless. Leighton Chapman had nothing in value in his possession, and he was caught by the police directly after the crime. Alright. Good. Let's just see if any of these work. Oh, there we go. Compelling evidence. The witness testimonies and the crime weapon clearly point to one possible culprit, Leighton Chapman. Yep. Double murder. Kenneth Butler and Brian Vicotti were the victim of a double murder carried out by one person, which is what we assume. Okay, so these two can't connect to each other. But, again, let's go ahead and go with this one, because like I said, it seems like we can test it out, and that's what I want to do. Alright, and we should have like one more, see if any of these will connect. No. Alright, so that is everything. Let's go ahead and talk to our boy down here in the interview room. What's up, fam?
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Who are you? I've got nothing to say. It's all a mistake.
Calm down, Leighton. I have come here to help you. To find out if you truly are innocent, as your younger brother Wiggins has told me.
My brother? You know him? Then that means you're...
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, blimey. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you everything.
Well, let's obviously examine this huge scar he has on his face. Occasional fights, grew up on the streets. Recent beating, resisted arrest, hot-headed. Fancy scarf, downtown fashion, cushy job, office clerk. How did you figure that out? Fancy scarf, office clerk. I mean, how do you figure that out from, like, he's an office clerk by looking at his scarf? Well, I mean, I'm not Sherlock Holmes, so that's what. Westgate prison can't, okay. That was pretty quick. Committed a crime. Alright, so he's not new to committing crimes, and he is a hothead, which, you know, will make him violent.
Good. Tell me your account of what happened.
I left my work and I hurried up to see the fireworks in Whitechapel. I was late, so I decided to cut through Half Moon Street. I saw the first fireworks light up in the sky. I bumped into a constable on a corner before entering Half Moon. Then suddenly, what with all the firework flare, I saw 2 men. They were both lying flat in the middle of the street. I stopped where I was.
So you didn't hear the
I
gunshots?
thought about turning back to the police, but as I was thinking of that, I saw a third person. He was leaning over the body that was furthest from me. The second I saw him, he raised his head and he stared at me. In a flash, I saw his gun, but he made a dash for it instead and he escaped through Whitechapel Street.
So you might still have had time to return to the constable.
I panicked. I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I approached the bodies just to see if they were still alive. I saw that one had blood pumping out of his stomach. He was dying. It was horrible. The second one was already dead. He had a hole in his head. He was holding a gun in his hand, though. I took it, and then I followed the third man.
Interesting. Pray, continue.
I turned a corner, and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash. It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming. And then I was caught by the police. But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess. Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man. Leighton, are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark, and he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket. He was quite average in size and his weight.
I see. Was there anything else that struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps... It's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away. Perhaps it was because of the fireworks or the surprise of me seeing him.
Leighton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
I know. I keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be arrested, and he was armed.
You were willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless you wanted revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
Oh my god, alright, I'm not gonna admit. I'm not exactly sure which one to go for. Turner's limp. Okay, that doesn't really have anything to do with the guy. Remember, Turner's the guy who saw the thing. He was a Westgate prisoner. Turner's contradiction. I'm not sure about that. Door key really doesn't have anything to do with the antique bracelet. We found the bracelet on Turner's bodies, well, in Turner's. Okay, I think it's Westgate prisoners. Boom.
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You knew that gentleman well, did you not?
However could you know that?
You have a typical tattoo of the Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same mark upon Mr. Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
Oh, God. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
We were convicted for a robbery. Once in prison, both of us joined one of these fraternities. During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
You were quite young then, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we were. We'd only stolen a pound of meat. After we were released, and when I saw what my little brother had become, I decided to work towards living an honest life.
And Vercotti?
He had a hard time. His sister had died in a Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into crime.
So you lost him?
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
Alright. Old acquaintances and Layton's statement. Layton stated that he saw a person leaning over a dead body as he entered the scene. Layton took a gun from the body and set off in pursuit of the man, but he was blinded by a bright light. Well, obviously it wasn't flashbang, because I don't think flashbangs were a thing in the 19th century. Here we go. Imaginary man. The person whom Layton Chapman describes in his statement is a figment of his own imagination, created to vindicate himself. Okay, so those two don't connect or anything. Personal motive. The violent crime committed in Half Moon Street by Layton Chapman could have had a personal motive. Yeah? Seems like they wouldn't know. They couldn't know each other. Alright. So, we know Layton knew the victims. And, I guess... But you know what's weird, though? Is that somehow they managed to find each other at that particular time. So I wonder if Layton actually planned on meeting Vercotti. But, in the alleyway. And they just... and then one of them shot... Or then he found that Vercotti was dying. Took the gun and went after the potential murderer. We're not exactly sure just yet. Yeah, I don't know. The story seems a little bit funny. Does sound funny, but we'll keep an open mind and just go on based on what evidence we have. So let's go to the pawn shop now and see if we can find more about this bracelet that we got here. Alright. Actually, you know what? I'd much rather go ahead and go back to Half Moon Street and just see if, you know, we can do the simultaneous shots. So, see, the thing is, though, right, is that we're thinking that it could have been a simultaneous shot, meaning that he would have had fired 3 bullets, right? But we've only seen 2 wounds on both bodies, so.
What's up with you, lad? What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for my brother to be released.
Your brother?
The one that you caught, beat up and imprisoned.
Ah, the murderer.
He ain't killed no one, copper.
Watch your mouth, lad, else you'll be joining that worthless brother of yours.
Great voice acting, by the way. Alright. One of the victims possibly fired his gun twice. Find out whom it might have been. Alright, so we have... What? This guy's small. Could he have fired there?
I am unable to see any higher. I need to find something to lift my lamp.
It's probably something that we're gonna have to go and find in another part of London.
I wish this crime had never happened, Mr. Holmes.
Unless you want to use both bodies and stack them on top of each other and stand on them. But obviously that's pretty messed up.
I'm always wondering what's on your mind, Holmes.
What's up, bruh? Alright. I'm just being thorough. Just want to check around, make sure there's nothing that we can actually use to, you know, stand on to get a bit of a boost. So what we're looking for is probably at the pawn shop, because you know pawn shop has a lot of stuff, random stuff, pretty much.
I suppose that I shall have to move my stool now.
Right. Okay. Let's go ahead and examine and see what the other gunman could have fired up. Right. Yeah, we're definitely not going to be able to solve this one.
I am unable to see any higher. I need to find something to lift my lamp.
Alright, let's go to the pawn shop. Ask about the ring, and then maybe we'll find something. There to help us lift ourselves up. Or at least the lamp. The lamp is the only thing we really need to, you know, that really needs to go up and fly. I definitely missed the pawn shop. Oh, duh. Here it is.
Mr. Butler's key matches the lock perfectly.
Okay. So Mr. Butler obviously has something to do with this pawn shop here. If you would have the keys.
Crampons and a sharp ice axe would only be brought here by a mountaineer.
Yo, that Jedi mind trick, Holmes, is pretty impressive.
A flare pistol. Perhaps it was pawned by a destitute sailor.
Well, hello there.
The ram's heads. This necklace belongs to the 5 Rams of Mittelin collection.
It seems like...
Interesting.
Yeah, Kenneth Butler owned this.
Kenneth Butler owned a part of this collection all this time, 10 years after the theft.
So that means he either comes here a lot to get money, or he owns this pawn shop, which would be kind of funny for a thief. You know what? That would actually make sense. A pawn shop owner also being a thief, so he can just like resell stuff. That actually makes kind of sense. I don't know how all that licenses and stuff like that, because I know in modern day pawn stores you have to have proof of like you actually buying this and not you know stolen this. Otherwise, thieves could just sell jewelry all day long at pawn stores, and then the police have to come collect it, and pawn stores lose their money. But yeah, I don't know how it was in 19th century England. Hello, Kenneth. Or, hello, Kenneth? What the? Okay. I remember you once told me about 3 pieces of golden jewelry with ram heads. From ancient Greece, you still got them, right? Well, good news for you. I found a man loaded with money who's crazy about those jewels. He's ready to fork out a small portion. I can arrange this meeting money bag for you, but I want you to cut me in on the deal. I'll be waiting for you at the crossing of Great Alley and Half Moon Street on Sunday evening before the fireworks. Brian Bacardi. Alright, first of all, this letter is written in modern English. Secondly, everything is spelled correctly as far as I know, which makes me think that hello, Kenneth, that hello is either A, how the Brits actually, write hello, which I doubt, I don't know. Or B, that's definitely a type, or an error made by the devs and overlooked. But anyway, that's not important right now. So, as I said, or as I predicted, that this meeting was definitely set up, like it was planned. Something obviously went wrong in the meeting, and, well, criminals firing at each other. It's like a drug deal, really. So it always ends in a gunfight. Not that I would know or anything like that. I never done drugs, so don't do drugs, kid.
It looks as though Mr. Butler kept a careful record of his operations.
Alright. So Kenneth Butler took a bracelet and possibly a ring from the ancient jewel set, the 5 Rams of Mittelin, or Mittelin, whatever. he was arranging a deal with Brian Fracotti that was to be discussed at Half Moon Street. So, burglary motive. The search for the missing Hellenistic treasures could be the motive for the crime that was committed in Half Moon Street. Mr. Tanner picked up the bracelet directly after the murder, but the ring is still missing. Personal motive. The violent crime committed in Half Moon Street by Leighton Chapman could have been a personal motive. Again, and for Leighton to actually be there just in time for this, trade deal to go down is very interesting. But anyways, let's go ahead and look. So I'm still not fully convinced that Leighton straight up murdered these dudes. So even though now, since we met him, it does seem more likely that he could have. Before I met him, it was less likely. But now, it seems like it could be a possibility.
A flare.
Alright. I think we've gotten everything here. I guess our next thing would be something.
Crampons.
Just making sure there's nothing else that we could have missed here. Probably is, though. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and call this an episode here. So, next episode, we should try to find something to help us, lift the lamp up, see if there could have been more bullet holes somewhere that we can't see because it's dark as balls. But yeah. That's all I got to say, really. So, anyways, thanks so much for watching, as always, and I'll see you in the next episode later. Hello. Let me in. Let me in.